Welcome to Attleboro Update. The winter may have passed, but the warmer weather has brought on a new set of problems. Over the last week, several brush fires have flared up throughout the Attleboro area. The fires were promptly put out by the Attleboro Fire Department, but there have been an increased concern over small wildfires. DoubleACS spoke with Attleboro Fire Chief Scott LaChance to learn about the causes of the fires and how to prevent them.
The first thing with burning brush is that you need to obtain a permit from the fire department. And the reason you obtain a permit is we monitor the DEP's website and also the State Fire Marshal's website before we determine if we're going to issue burning permits. If DEP is determined that the atmosphere is such that pollution is more likely, they will tell us that we shouldn't issue burning permits. And if the winds are very high, State Fire Marshal's office and the State Fire Warden will also offer what they call it a red flag day. Typically it's because of dry conditions and wind, and they will actually instruct us not to issue burning permits. Most of the time when you have brush fires, it's usually because of people burning on a red flag day when they probably shouldn't be burning, or if they were burning the day before and they didn't extinguish the fire completely. Sometimes it's from smoking or other careless activities, but it's almost always occurs during a very dry spell when there's a warm wind. If it's a first offense, there would probably be some civil liability for the person if what they did led to damage to an abutting property or something. But as far as a simple brush fire, there's really no penalty from the city or the fire department. It would be if it was a repeated offense. If they were burning repeatedly without a permit, then we can fine them, probably $50 fine, I'm not positive, but it's nothing real substantial. The open burning regulations are a little bit vague, but basically if somebody is truly cooking, it doesn't fall into open burning. They still have to do it in a way that's responsible and safe. It should be at least 75 feet away from a structure or a neighbor's structure. They need to have a garden hose ready. And no matter what time of year and no matter what somebody's burning, if it's cooking or if it's burning brush, if it creates a nuisance, and that's actually the word that's in the regulations, if it creates a nuisance, that they will be required to cease burning. And the determination for nuisance is essentially if you get several neighborhood complaints and that we have to respond, that would constitute a nuisance and that person would lose the ability to burn. There were probably 3 or 4 brush fires over the weekend, but 2 of them really turned out not to be brush fires. It was just people burning brush in their yards and there really was no problem, but a passerby or somebody inadvertently thought that it was more than that. So a couple of those really weren't incidents. The other 2 were small brush fires, and it's difficult to say what actually caused it, but it was definitely made worse by the conditions. It was those particular days were the red flag days. There was supposed to be no open burning, and that was a case where the wind probably carried some embers, and it could really, it could travel 100 feet or so and actually light someplace else. So best course of action is when it's windy and you're in doubt, you should always call the fire department. Even if you're not doing brush burning, even if you're looking to do a cookout, you should always call. Probably one of the biggest safety issues that people don't think about with the summer issues with barbecuing, a lot of time involves propane tanks. One of the things that people don't think about with propane gas grills is they have them very close to the house. And although it's not common, sometimes if you have a lot of grease accumulate on the grill, you can actually start a fire in the gas grill. And the last thing that you want to have is a fire with something being fed by propane up against the house, especially if it's vinyl siding. We've had a few incidents over the last couple of years where siding started to melt. Best course of action is keep your gas grill at least 10 to 15 feet from the property, from your house.